Thank you for joining today's event. So today we will do this online. So we will record this. So you will see something like this. So for the reason of we have to memo this and maybe cut some picture for our news online later. So please allow us to take the record of this event. And please keep your camera on so we can see each other's face as much as you can. And thank you to join this event in the very early morning in the weekend. This is the second Salon for international students and engineers in Japan, organized by GSCE. So this time is topics on job hunting for as foreign students. My name is Ji Dan, and I'm supposed to hold this opening address. Right? But Idol-san, beside me, will chair this event, right?
Yes.
Okay. So please allow me to start the introduction in the first.
Okay, go on.
So this event is organized by the GSCE International Activity Center, IAC. I think a lot of you already know this because some of the event. This group is International Civil Engineer Group, start from 2019, the new group of this organization. And we, inside this, we have a few work group there. Today we are present for the Civil Engineer International Students Group, which is supporting the international student for your life in Japan, for hunting job in Japan. And we hold Salon, like today, this is the second one, we held it before. And we also do a survey, I will mention later, which I already sent you already, please answer, help. And we also, on launching program is Host Senpai program. I think I already sent you some of the announcement to you. Please join if you like it. So we are recruiting one of our survey about the international students in Japan civil engineering. So here is the survey's QR code. So if you have your smartphone beside you and you didn't answer it yet, so you can just take a screenshot and take the QR code and answer the survey later. Okay, so this will help us understand how to help you better in the future. Please cooperate and answer the survey. And IAC have a lot of very great event. And we have the IAC news, and we have English version information about GSCE. Please visit the GSCE international.org for news information. We have a lot of amazing events coming today, later. And because I'm also working in the international student group, we also hold the summer symposium in GSCE annual meeting. This year will be in September in Hiroshima University, in Hiroshima. A very beautiful place. Please join us if you already submit for the GSCE annual meeting paper presentation. And we also have a wonderful workshop on this summer symposium. This is some pictures of the last time. We have brainstorming and a lot of discussion, very good presentation things, and hope you can join this summer symposium and workshop in Hiroshima. And another related to this salon, and I think a lot of you will be very interested about, is we also organize joint company information session. We'll join some company and foreign students together to listen their explanation and to have a face-to-face online event about Japanese company. Last year in 2020, on the online event, we gathered 13 companies and 129 international students from all over the country and all of the nations. So please focus on the news, and we will let you know later. So please join our joint company session later. So for get better information, I will suggest you to join GSCE associate member, the requirement is almost no requirement. Anyone can join that, and you can get a lot of benefit from it, receive membership, and get certification of the membership, and you can get a lot of information from it. Just scan the QR code and join the associate member right now. Okay, that's all I have to say today. Thank you very much. So talk to you later. Hello, I will handle this mic to you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. So I will briefly introduce the program of today, and then we proceed with our program. So we will have from 10 to 10:05 opening remarks. That is done already. From 10:05 to 10:15, we will have a presentation, job hunting in Japan. And then from 10:15 to 10:20, we will have a question and answer about that presentation. And we will proceed with the second part of our program, which is senpai hunting experience. So you will have the opportunity to ask senpai a question you have about how to find job in Japan and other things. And this section will last from 10:20 to 10:55, but depending on how much question we get, we may extend 30 minutes more, so up to 10:37 or something like that, 10:37. So, and after that, we'll have a closing remark, and let's get started with the presentation. So, Shile-san, please.
Thank you very much. Let me get started with my presentation. Give me a few seconds to share my screen here. I hope everybody can see my screen. Everything's okay. Okay, let me get started here. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Shrey Stopit. I'm just here to present to you briefly about, finding a job in Japan as a foreign engineer. So today, before I go into the topics, let me just have a little bit of time to introduce myself. So a little bit of history from me. I'm from Nepal. I'm right now 28 years old. I speak English, Japanese, and Nepali. So my background here was I studied in Nepal my high school, and then from university I came to Japan. But the thing is, I've been living in Japan when I was elementary school, so there's a little bit of I can speak a little bit more Japanese maybe than compared to most foreign engineers that are maybe participating today. So yes, so this might be a little bit different background, but I just like to say that part. So I came to Waseda. I did my bachelor's degree. I graduated September of 2016. Yeah, since 2017, I've joined Nippon Koi, and I've been working in the International Roads and Bridges Department doing projects overseas, like in Uganda, Kenya, Nepal, and recently I went to Peru as well. So yeah, that's a little introduction about myself. So moving on to the actual topic of today. So before I talk about, what the job hunting experience is like, I'll just like to tell you my experience with job hunting. So, the background is that when I was in university at the time, that was maybe in my second or third year, I was pretty sure already that I wanted to work in an engineering consultant firm. Of course, being a civil engineer, I did think about, doing work in, like a contracting job or something like that. But by the time I was in second, third year, I was pretty sure I wanted to work at an engineering firm. So in my third year, I would talk to my professors at the university, and they recommended to me Nippon Koi. And so at the end, I believe it was at the end of my third year, I attended a 3-week overseas internship with Nippon Koi. This is not not too typical. I think 3 weeks is pretty long for an internship these days. There's a lot of 1 day, 2 day interns going up to maybe a week or 2 weeks. But 3 weeks was pretty long internship, especially back then. But yeah, I attended that. I did attend a few job fairs after that, maybe a few 1 day internships after that as well. And then it actually got me interested in JR East as well. So to me, at that point, there was 2 parts that I was interested in. It was Nippon Koei and JR East. So what is typical in Japan is I think you request some OB interviews, they call it. So basically, if you're from a university, you ask people from that university who used to go to that university and is working at that company to interview you a little bit, get to know the company a little bit more, get to know the, job hunting experience a little bit more as well. And typically they guide you through that. So what I did was I interviewed some people from JR East. I did about 2 or 3 OB interviews, I believe, and they got me started on the job hunting process pretty early, as early as I think it was January, I believe. So yeah, so I got interested in JR East as well, but Nippon Koei as well, because thanks to the fact that I did the interview along the internship a while back, they sent me a lot of information about how to start the application early. I think that was also in January. So then I tried to apply to these 2 companies. I did the Japanese written test for NK and then multiple interviews for NK as well. And the process was just a little earlier for NK, and I got the job in NK. And my professor also knew some people at the company, Nippon Koei, and he also helped me out a little bit. And so that was the process of me getting the job at NK. And I believe it was over by the time it was March. So yeah, that's just a general my experience with job hunting. So yeah, so I just want you to understand one thing about my experience with job hunting. It's quite short. It's even for regular Japanese people, having a 2-month job hunting period was quite short. I only did interviews for 2 companies, so that's a little bit maybe different from what normal people might have to go through. I did do a lot of research for companies, but it was really minimal. I didn't have the experience of looking around a lot of companies. So my experience with that is a little bit different. And also, again, my professor has some connections with the company I work in. So yeah, so that was also a big factor. But yeah, so that's something that was a little bit different to what maybe is a typical job hunting experience in Japan. But I do, hear from a lot of people, so I do have a little bit of understanding of what the challenges that everybody faces in job hunting here in Japan. So from what I know of looking at job hunting with foreigners and also Japanese people here in Japan, what I think is the main challenge that we have is not understanding the job hunting system. So I think Japanese people, when they do job hunting, I think they rely on a lot of job hunting services, especially Rikunabi, Mynabi. But the thing is, I think they require Japanese, and might be a little bit of a hurdle for most foreigners trying to get jobs in Japan. These days, internships are a must. Typically, the longer the better, I'd say. The people you meet there will help you sort of with the job hunting process, but the people that you meet with human resources there will definitely give you information pretty early. They recommend you what to do and everything. So building connections there is really helpful as well. So just to know also the fact that some companies start processes pretty early. Internships are a must because that's where you get your first information. If your professors have connections, you have to rely on them as much as possible. And again, I mentioned earlier as well, they tend to put a little bit of emphasis on OBs. So if you know people from your university that's also working in that company, so it's better if it's people from the same lab as well. So it's really good to have connections there. And I think so that's I think challenges that foreigners face with the job hunting process. But I think it's also important to know what you're getting into, sort of finding the right fit. So I mean, I think everybody, once you spend at least 2 or 3 years here, you understand there's maybe the culture here is a little bit different from the culture that you experience back home, especially work culture. So that's something you have to definitely look out for. But it's hard to define what work culture here is in Japan as well. There are a lot of range of companies. Well, I've only experienced in Konkoi, so there's not a lot I can say about other companies, but I feel like there are some companies that are strictly follow Japanese work culture, but there are some these days that also don't follow it like really, really strictly. I think it's really important to know at an early stage what kind of company you're getting into. And I think doing internships there, at least long internships, really helps to figure that out for you. And the thing is, it's not even by companies, like even within companies, according to different departments, there's really different sort of work culture. So again, getting into internships, finding out about the department that you want to go into is really, really important. So, and just another note is that typically the ones that are, very strict in Japanese manners and all that is also the companies that require sort of a high proficiency in Japan. And so even if, like, from what I understand, even if they don't tell you, okay, you don't really need high proficiency in Japanese, if their work culture is really, really Japanese, I think at one point or another, you would be required that proficiency in Japanese. That's just something that's just my opinion. So another thing about companies here in Japan is salaries. So I'm not sure about everybody's experience here, the people that joined today's meeting, but if you've worked overseas, maybe the way the salary is structured might be a little bit different. So typically in Japanese companies, they're definitely they're more based on the number of years that you're working at the company. So there are some companies that hire you for your skill and they have salaries based on achievement. But typically Japanese companies are typically based on the number of years you're at the company. If you're looking for, companies that have skill or achievement-based salaries, you might be interested in foreign companies, but companies that are based in Japan. That might also be something you'd want to look into. So for me, another thing about, finding the right fit is about, your personality as well. So do you like to be someone that's unique in a company, or do you want to be someone that's, works a little bit freely, does whatever you want, like, what you want to experience, sort of thing? So my opinion is if you want to be a unique person in the company, saying, okay, I need you want to be relied upon for your English skills or something that you bring to the table, I'd suggest you'd find a typical Japanese company, because they might be looking for someone like that, to be unique. I mean, it might be a little bit controversial to say this, but if they're looking for foreigners to work at your company, of course they're trying to figure out that unique factor as well. So I think if you want to be a unique person in a company, finding a typical Japanese company would be really good for you. If you want to work a little bit more freely, manage your own time, I think finding a more liberal workplace would be better. Again, going back to the foreign companies based in Japan, I know for a fact that they're a little bit more free, and so that might be something you want to look into. So I think I'm a little bit over time, but yeah. So I hope my presentation helped. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Also, when this presentation ends, you can always contact me. This is my email address. You can find me on Facebook. Just give me a message. I'll try to help as much as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. According to our schedule, we should have a question and answer from 10:15 to 20. So we are running out of time. What I suggest is we go straight to Senpai section. And during that section, you can ask questions to Shili-san. So we start. So we will move on to the next section of our salon, which is a senpai section. And during this section, you can freely ask Shili-san about his presentation. So I will start with the senpai session, and I will ask senpai that are here to introduce themselves to you. I will start from my left-hand side.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luisa Santa. I'm from Colombia. I came to Japan like 8 years ago, almost 9. I came to do my PhD in the University of Tokyo in geotechnical engineering. And I've been working in Hasamando Corporation since I graduated in 2017, 5 years. And that's all. Nice to meet you. Please ask many questions, but easy questions, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Jidang. I'm from China, and I was came in Japan. Let me see, 16 years. 16 years. So I'm started my PhD in Japan in Aichi Institute of Technology, and then later to the postdoctoral in Kyoto University. And right now, the reason that I go to Kyoto is because I cannot find job in Japan. So I go to 2 years for Kyoto University to postdoctor, but later I find work in Saitama University. So if you are interested in working in university, you can ask me a question later.
Thank you, Sensei. Okay, in our group that Sensei have introduced to you, those are the members of the group, and they are not present yet. And apart from member of our group, we also have advisor, and I have one on my left. Please, introduce yourself. Ah, sorry. I'm very sorry. Yes, we also have Raul-san, who is attending online. Raul-san, please introduce yourself. He's a member of our...
That's okay. I think online get a little bit less value. It's okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Rahul, and I'm from India. And currently today, because of the COVID, I'm also attending this from India because during the Golden Week I got COVID and I couldn't come back to Japan on time. So it's been around 5.5 years in Japan for me. I came to Japan as a master's student back in 2017. And after graduating from the University of Tokyo, I joined Sumitomo Mitsui Construction Company. So I've been working there for the last 3.5 years in more of, if you guys heard about DX promotion department. So I've been working in DX related stuff for the last 3.5 years. If you have any questions about job hunting after masters, feel free to ask questions in this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul-san. Izawa-san, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending this salon. My name is Izawa, belong to the Hazama and Corporation. And I have worked in overseas project since 1998, around 20 years. And today I hope this salon help you for your job hunting in Japan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Izawa-san. Nagasawa-san, please introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Nagasawa. I work for the Nippon Engineering Consultant Companies. So the Edaro-san, the senpai. So nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you. We also have a member of GSCC. Arai-san, please introduce yourself. Okay.
Helped us. He now come to the camera, but he actually helped us a lot, all the things. Thank you, Alexan.
Okay, let's introduce myself. My name is Int'l. I'm from Benin, West Africa. It's a very small country located in western part of Africa. I came to Japan in 2015, and I did my master's in Hokkaido University. And after I graduated, I worked for 2 years for a construction company. And after that, I started working with a consulting company for now 3 years and a half. Nice to be with you and ask so many questions as you want to. Thank you. So we will start from question from you, and please about the previous presentation, the presentation of Salon. You can ask any question you want about that presentation, and after that we'll move on, and you can ask any question to any senpai you have. Okay. So for question, to ask question, it is a reaction, like a smiling face. You will see there, then you have a raise a hand, and then after you click on that, we will select you, and then you will ask your question. Or you can also send us a message in the chat. You can also read it. So we are waiting for you to ask a question. Thank you.
Don't be shy, just you can just open your mic and say something, right?
Okay, Adnan-san, please go on.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. And my name is Adnan. I am from Pakistan. Currently, I'm doing PhD in YNU. I also completed my master in the same university. Now I am second year in PhD. And in Japan, the recruitment process starts very early, even before your graduation and 1 year before your graduation. How companies assess the proficiency of the student and the capabilities of the student even during the studies, and whether he's also not confident that he will complete his PhD or master's in time or within the stipulated period, and even he's still not confident about his work, and how the companies assess the capability of the student if he has not finished his job yet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. To answer that question, I will ask Mr. Nagasawa-san, who is a member. He's a very big responsible in my company, so.
So our company's case, the internship application start in June, and the internship will be held in August, and after that, official entry will be in March. This is consultant companies. Almost companies are nearly the schedule. It's okay?
If they're recruiting a doctor student, so do you worry they can finish their degree or not? For master students, almost no problem, right?
Yeah.
Almost they on the schedule, but doctors have some risk, right? Didn't or cannot get paper published, so maybe kind of the risk. So is that not a very normal question, maybe? Case by case?
Can I add something on that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Adnan sir, for the question. That's a very interesting question. I think we people are not used to imagining it in that way. But I have not been on the recruiting side exactly. But over the last 3.5 years, I've been involved with some of the recruitment activities in my company. So in my experience, what basically they, as you asked, like how exactly they assess that whether the student is going to graduate or not. It's more of that when we say that you are from YNU or like Saitama University, Todai, Tokyo Dai, anything, they have an image that you will graduate. And as Shreesan also mentioned in his presentation, that usually the recruitment process is like 2 to 3 months long. At least it will take, even if they're going to take 3 interviews, they will take 2 to 3 months to assess you, to discuss in the company and to access your profile and to see whether like what kind of a personality you have. And the second factor, which is very important, Shreesan also mentioned in his presentation, is the links your professor have. So the people in the company, they will reach out to your university, they will reach out to some of the OBs in the university or like your professor, and they will get to know that whether you're going to graduate or not. I think that's what they follow basically. And they have a trust that you will do it because you are in a reputed university. We are all here as a foreign students. So they have an image that we can do that. I think that's in my experience that's how they will assess.
Thank you for clarification.
Okay, thank you. Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yeah, pretty sure. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to share my experience. I was also a PhD student, and I think the company just trusted me. but of course I had to show the, I don't know, there is like a certificate before your graduation. The company gives you like 1 or 2 months before. I had to submit that one. And also there was a case of one lady got the job offer for my company, but she didn't graduate, so the company just retired the offer. So even if you have the offer, then you have to complete and show the certificates.
You get the offer from the company, your supervisor will be nervous, right? So your supervisor will be nervous that if he or she will work hard, that you graduate on time from the side of university.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
There's also a solution that you can go to the company and get the degree as a dissertation doctor. So this means that you just submit paper and get degree by final defense. So you don't need to working inside the university. You can get it after you get graduated.
I understand.
Okay, thank you. Shing-san, please.
Hi. Sorry. Yeah, my name's Int'l. I'm actually calling from Australia. I think I'm a bit different from probably the students here because I studied in Australia, my engineering, and I'm actually currently working in an Australian engineering company. I'm actually looking at further job opportunities in Japan. And recently I've obtained my APEC International Project Engineering license. So my question is, what advice you would have for a more senior or more experienced engineer who's trying to move to another country and trying to apply for Japanese companies, via LinkedIn or through, through connections, that kind of thing. Because I've seen on like LinkedIn, there's certain requirements which I don't have. So say in some of the project management jobs, they require the first-class architectural license, which I clearly don't have. However, it's stipulated on the job requirement.
Okay, thank you. You living now in Australia, right?
I live in Australia now, yes. But I have family connections. My wife's Japanese, so I frequently go to Japan. I'm just kind of looking at the job market at the moment, like possibly moving job, trying to find if there's any opportunities in the Japanese companies, but more for a more experienced engineer. So I was also open to looking for internships, but yeah, my question is just how to start because I never studied in a Japanese university, and thus I don't have any professor connections or anything like that. I just like to ask if there are any recommendations on trying to build the connections or trying to get the internship experience in Japan in a Japanese company.
Okay. What I can say to you is, since you are not living in Japan, one easy way to proceed is to find a job hunting company, headhunter company. There are so many companies here in Japan dedicated to
Yes,
work. So you can contact
see, yeah.
them and then send them your CV, and they will be the one in charge of everything because they know more company. Then they will
Oh, I
search
see.
the company that really match your profile. And
Oh, I
see.
see. Yes, I've heard about the headhunter, but I haven't actually contacted any. Yes, I see. Yeah.
Can I just build on that a little bit? So from what I understand, yeah, again, I think your case is a little bit different from
Yeah.
what I was explaining, maybe. I think in Japan you would consider that position a little bit differently because in Japan they have these two systems where you
Yes, yeah.
going in as a new graduate or you're coming in as a, well, they call it, I don't know the right word in English, they call it tenshoku, but like you're from a different company, sort of.
I see. Yeah.
You have different ways of getting in. The way I mentioned doing internships and finding connections through professors is for new graduates. But if you're
Yes,
coming
yeah.
into the company, these days what's popular in Japan, from what I understand, is they have a lot of these apps that sort of
Yes.
connect you with headhunting. They have these lists of they have what companies are asking for. Basically, it's a
Yeah.
app where they put the jobs up. But they might require a little bit of proficiency in Japanese. You might have to read the app in Japanese, maybe contact.
I see. Yeah.
But I think if you mention the fact that your proficiency in English is little bit higher, maybe they might contact you in English. And if you can contact these people from headhunting companies through these apps. So I think that might be a little bit easier for you in terms of a hurdle, but they might require a little bit Japanese.
Oh, I see. I'll totally. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I haven't actually considered tweaking throughout the route. So yeah, thanks for the advice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Emerson would like to know information about how to find internship. I would like to Sensei to respond to her.
Can I respond to this one? For the internship, we all group just did a survey on internship last year. Right now, we opened it on the website of GSCE. So I will try to find it and put it in the chat later. Okay, so you can check for this kind of information, and also if you look at to the application Shui-san just said before, MyNabi and Likunabi, they also have information of internship. It's also depending on you are trying to do internship in English or Japanese. So if you can speak some Japanese, you can directly find it on the Likunabi and the MyNabi. But English-based internship is a little bit difficult, but there is some chance, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you, Sensei. Taki-san would like to know what extent is Japanese language a barrier for joining Japanese international companies, especially international one?
Edaro-san, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I tried to answer Taki-san's question just now in the chat box. So maybe I can just repeat it here because I guess a lot of people will be interested in knowing that what kind of barrier or how big is the barrier of a Japanese language in joining a company. So I'll just quickly say what I mentioned in my answer. I think like Shrey-san already mentioned in his presentation that Japanese will be required if you are going to join any traditional Japanese company. Even in the starting, if they will say that you don't need Japanese, but if it is a traditional company, expect to at least communicate in Japanese after a year or 2 years. Otherwise, even if you'll join the company, later on, you'll find out that it will be difficult for you as well as the company, that now you will feel that you're not growing in the company because you don't understand Japanese and you're not able to communicate with many people. And communication is very important in the company. So try to figure it out beforehand that what kind of culture the company has. If it is international company, those who are working in Japan, like if even I have mentioned that international companies in Japan, the language might not be a big barrier, but please, I would like to add on this point that if international company is trying to build up a market in Japan, they will also need Japanese because now they will expect you to have Japanese to expand the market in Japan, not in like overseas. So just before applying in the companies, talk to the people in the company that what kind of profile are they looking for? Are they looking for like somebody in the international sector or to have like services in the domestic sector? Based on that, your Japanese language requirement will be there. Yeah, that would be all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Raul-san. Do you want to add something?
I think you know that I'm the only one here in the group who cannot speak Japanese. You are very good at Japanese, and I barely use it at work. But it has been very difficult for me, like to communicate. I mean, I can speak some Japanese, but very simple, easy Japanese, and I think I was lucky when I applied to the company because they were looking for people for the international division. So I was not required to speak any Japanese, and even though they were looking for, they were trying to expand to Latin American countries. That's why I was like, I was very lucky when I got the job because they also needed Spanish and like some approach to Latin American countries. But now, for example, I speak for my company, like they are now asking for at least N2 because there is no more space in international division, right? So this is my case. I always say I was very lucky, but I think you should, I think the biggest concern of all of you as students, and as I saw in the survey, is that it's the Japanese language. It's that you are required to speak to speak good Japanese for being hired in a Japanese company. And I really understand that all of you came just 1 or 2 or 3 years ago to Japan. And like, for example, Shrey-san's case is very different because you came here very young and you already could speak Japanese, right? But for the rest of us, we don't have the time to study, to practice any Japanese. Like most of us, I think all of us are doing our master's or PhD in English in the Japanese universities. So, I don't know what advice to give. I think I was only lucky, but if you can look for some company who is maybe focusing in your country, that they have projects in your country, or I don't know, maybe in research, maybe you will not need that much Japanese. So I think it is difficult, but if you have some connections also, for me, also to have some senpais in my company was helpful. Also for Shrey was like that also, right? Yeah, I think, and also being a woman is also even more difficult. Then I think for us as an international engineers, it's very difficult to get a job, but it's not impossible. And that's why we are creating these connections. And let's try to get a job for all of us in our companies. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Yusa-san. Any other question? Feel free to ask any question you want. Yes, Hison, please go ahead.
Anin-san.
Anin-san, sorry.
ねんです。聞こえますか? Okay, well, there are two questions. One is for Luisa-san, but Luisa-san already answered from earlier, so I did. Okay, now, so my question will be for the Raho-san. So I heard that from your talk earlier that you're working for a Sumitomo construction. I'm also interested in Sumitomo construction, so I would like to ask, like, are you doing the same like job hunting procedure like normal Japanese students, or like Shure-san, you did like 2 months or something like that?
Yeah, thank you so much, Hin-san, for your question. So in my case, I followed the traditional Japanese way. Even for Sumitomo Mitsui Construction, if you ask specifically, you can also reach out in the way as Shrey-san has mentioned, that you can do internship or you can reach out to the OBs of your lab. But in that case also, what benefit you will get is that your resume or your application will be seen directly by the senior officials, but the application procedure will be same as a traditional Japanese way. You will still have to apply online from the website, like we have Gurunavi or some other. We also have our direct website for inputting your entry sheet is the right word, right? So entry sheet and then like exam and then interviews. You will have to follow the same procedure. The only benefit you can get from direct OBs is that your application will be highlighted in the company. But other than that, in my case, for example, I also had connections as like my OBs were there in the company, and also there were some Indians in the company, as well as the major benefit, which I would say, is from the job hunting fairs. Like, because at that time I directly got to talk to like general manager, so he was like, okay, I will look into your application later on, but the application process is same as the Japanese way.
I see.
I hope I answered
so
you.
what about the R&D department? Are they also the same? I'm also a doctoral student, so if possible, I would like to join into R&D.
Yes. So regarding the R&D department specifically, since R&D, you might be considered as like mid-career recruitment, because sometimes people, those who join R&D, since you have done masters and PhD, that is considered as like 5 years of work. And then you might also have like some other working experience as postdoc or in some other company. So sometimes they consider them as mid-career recruitment. In that case, your hiring process might be different. Like, you will not have to follow the same entry sheet and everything. But if you have, if you're continuing doing like bachelor's, master's, PhD, and then your process will stay the same. Interviews, or like during the application also, you can check in that you want to apply specifically for R&D department. Does that answer your query?
Yeah. Okay, one last question. So what about the SPI test? did you take it in Japanese or in English? Because you're doing a normal process, right?
For the exams, you can give in English also.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all.
And if I remember correctly, there used to be an exam in Japanese, but it's not very difficult one. So it's more of like you can take your time, take 1 hour, 1.5 hours. You can take help from your lab mates or anybody. So that exam, I think, is not the most important part. And people in the company, they understand that Japanese is difficult part. But more like your main exams will be in English. You will have the option of that.
I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Putri-san from Waseda University.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Putri, a second-year PhD student from Waseda University. So I have 2 questions actually. The first is that how can I know like Japanese companies in Japan? Like I'm interested to join a consulting company, but I don't know many Japanese company and if it is from a job fair, how can I get the information of the job fair? That's the question number 1. The second is that as everyone else, my language barrier is my first problem here. And then everyone mentioned that I should get an internship first before I actually apply for to join the company. But and I found it very difficult actually to learn Japanese during my PhD. And during the internship, do I need a specific level of Japanese skill? And also about learning Japanese, I intend to start learning Japanese after I graduate, which is on September, whereas the company usually start at April. So I have like around 6 months to prepare. So is it okay? Will the company will consider that even though I cannot speak Japanese right now due to my PhD program, I will learn Japanese and probably take into after I graduate later. And how can I deliver this intention to the company? I think these are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For your first question, how you can have a list of company if you don't know much company. You can contact GSCC and they will introduce you to some company. Also, you can search for it on internet like Japanese construction company list. But in Japanese, like you put consultant to Ichiran, something like that, you can get a list of Japanese company. Or you search like Japanese construction company or consultant company ranking. I think like that, you get a list of them. You can also contact GSCC. You will have more information about that. And your second question is, can you precise the question? I didn't get it so very well.
During the internship, do I need a Japanese skill? And during my application to join the company, do I also need to have a specific Japanese skill?
For the internship, it depends. Some company accept foreign students and you get internship in English. You don't need a Japanese, and some require Japanese. So it depends on the company. Also, for joining company for Japanese language skill is depending also on the company. Some company employ international students and you don't really need to speak Japanese. Then you work just abroad and you come to Japan sometime and then you go abroad. So everything is based on the need of the company. And for that, you need to search for them, like you go to their profile and see the kind of job they are proposing, what they are doing, what they are into, and what you can bring and see. So.
Yes, may I say something? Yeah, last year's Salon, this same event, was about internships. So for that time, we made a survey. We asked different companies about what are the requirements and what is the language. So we made a list. I think Dan Sensei sent a message in the chat with the link with the the last Salon about internships. So you can enter there, and there maybe you will find a list, and maybe there is a video of this same Salon. So we are explaining this, so you can find many information there.
I think the list is not in the page, JSC page.
Yeah, it says-
Do you remember any company that accept English internship in the memory?
Most of them were in Japanese, but there were some in English.
Yeah. Can I add one part in that? There's another portal. I'm not sure. I personally feel very few people know about this portal. There's a consolidated list of companies by JETRO. So I just sent the link in the chat now. So JETRO, in this particular website, you can find the companies, those who are interested in like highly skilled foreign professionals. In this one, you can select that what kind of companies, which region of their work, and whether they need English, whether their internship program is available. So you can select the filters, and then you can find out the companies which are specifically for you. Like if you are looking for working in Asia or like in Europe, US, or like only in Japan, and what kind of expertise you have, you can select on the basis of that. And I think that's a very good link for people, those who are looking for people, for companies, those who want to hire foreign nationals.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers. Those are very helpful. I will check the link you mentioned.
Thank you. The next is Tufel Amazon.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you to all the senpais and to the organizers of this salon. I hope you can hear me clearly. Is it okay? So my name is Tufel Ahmad. I am a final year doctoral student at Saitama University. So my question is follows the answer given by Rahul-san before. So it's regarding the mid-career recruitment. Like some companies like the Nippon Koi on their website, they have the mid-career recruitment, and they have like the requirement of 5 years work experience. So like I think Rahul said, some companies, they consider PhD or masters as part of the work experience. So I want to know, is it like especially from the representatives of Nippon Koi or maybe Hasama Ando, I don't know if they have mid-career. So do they consider PhD or masters or the research as part of the work experience? And also like, do they have any information about their R&D department? Like do they recruit for the R&D department or not? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Basically, for master or PhD, there is not much stress about the degree actually, but it's much more about what you will learn in the company, and then what you can do, I think. So, but from my own experience, there is not that big difference between the masters and PhD inside the company. In terms of salary, you can get a little bit different, but not that much. I don't know if...
Yes, you're right. Yeah, there is a small difference in the salary. I also entered as a mid-career because of PhDs, but but as a mid-career, because I was a foreigner and I didn't know anything, so I started as a fresh woman, as everyone. I have to go to the new employees a training. So it was same as being a master's or only bachelor graduate.
Hi, this is Shrey. Just yeah, I completely agree. It's only a matter of what you decide. They will accept you as both a new graduate or a mid-career. It's all dependent on the salary, I believe. I think that's the only constraint that there is, I believe. Speaking from a Nippon Koi point of view, I've seen, I think, both actually. You know, and especially in R&D, I believe there's a lot of doctorates who've come in as mid-career. I think there's a Vietnamese doctorate student that started work in the R&D department as well. So I think, yeah, I think they're pretty accepting. Yeah, if you just apply, I think they will. I can't say exactly if there's a position open or not, but if you ask, I think they'll let you know if there's a position open at least. Yeah, thank you.
So my name is Jidan. So I will put some word on that. I think in Japanese companies culture, I don't know Izawa-san or Nakazawa-san will agree, but kind of they're not so much focus on your working experience, but they maybe not very look at to your research work or something about your study. They are more focused on the personality. So what kind of person you are, I think is quite an important part when the Japanese company are selecting people. So I suggest you to focus on that part best. Okay. So another thing, I think there's a lot of contents in the chat. I don't know if you check it or not. So I think one of the chat leading to a page for the foreign student job hunting page. So I think the information is coming from Tang-san. Tang-san also for new group member. So Tang-san, would you like to introduce a little bit?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jidan. Wait, let me share the page. This is actually, I know this Ryukatsu through my job hunting period, and I actually got the help from one of the recruiters from this site. They are actually very helpful in guiding you through your papers, for example, entry sheet or your interview, how to practice for the interview. And you can ask them if there are any thing you need to help on job hunting. So I think you can check the contents in here. They have job for new graduates, professionals, and events and seminars. So you can maybe like get an idea of the job hunting up on Japan as a how to say DK as a engineering student. Yeah. So I hope you can check it out, and maybe, for example, you can go to civil engineering area as a fresh graduate. They will show you for example, what type of work they have, and do they require your national language, or they require Japanese language, something like that, at least Japanese N2, something like that. Yeah, I hope it helps you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is very interesting. Homepage will be very helpful and very focused on the on the topic of today. Thank you. And I think there's also other very useful information shared by Nakazawa-san. if you check the homepage he shared here. Nagasan, do you like to explain a little bit about this page you shared? I think one is about the Japanese consultant company.
Okay, I'd like to share the two links. First is Japan Civil Engineering Consultant Association. This is a Japanese consultant association. So, so many engineers companies enter this association. And the second is Overseas Consultants Association. This consulting firms association that target the overseas project. So that's all.
The member of this associate are working out of Japan, right? So they are recruiting for the foreign student. So please check for the new information from there. Maybe there's also have some internship or something, right? Please check it out. Sorry, I will get back to you. I think Sanjeev maybe asking.
It's fine. Yes. In the chat, someone from Egypt is asking about how important is a recommendation letter from your supervisor? Is your recommendation letter from your supervisor is can help you also get the job because you know, after all, it's a matter of trust, and as To Sensei said about your personality. So from you getting a recommendation letter from your supervisor, show that the company can trust you. You are probably a good person, and it can help you get a job. And he also asking about how important is 1 day or internship. So it's also good if you have opportunity to do internship because by doing internship, you have some link with people in the company. People will also see you when you're doing the internship, how good you are, what's your personality, and that will help you a lot in applying for a job in that company. And in the charts also, there is a question about the difference between the consultant company and the construction company. Maybe in foreign country, most of the time, construction company and the consultant company are together, are both, and the same company that is designing, the same company can consult. But here in Japan, a designing company and a construction company are separated. So if you go for a consultant, the consulting company is mainly for designing, and a construction company is getting what have been designed and construct. So I don't know if you have any other question.
Sanjeev, you have question?
Okay, Sanjeev, okay, go on.
Can you hear me then?
I can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi, I'm Sanjeev from Saitama University. Actually, I'm a student of To Sensei, and hopefully maybe I will graduate next year. My question is a little bit different, like how can we proceed if we want to do postdoc in Japan, or maybe if I want to join some university further. So if someone can help me in that areas, it would be grateful. Thank you very much.
Questions for me?
Yes, of course. Of course.
So when I was a doctoral student, when I finished my doctoral degree, I didn't have if I want to hunt for working in university, you need more papers, right? And at that time, I only have one paper, so I need more papers. So I think I need to do a postdoctor. So I asked my professor, so he hired me for 1 year, but the contract is only 1 year. So I also applied for the JSPS PhD PD program. They all have very good salary for postdoctor, but I didn't get it. I applied twice, I think, failed twice, and but other people get this, and they work very well. And also, I write letters to professors I know of. They have hiring postdoctor. Most of them respond to me very politely, say no, but politely. And but one professor said, "Oh, okay, maybe I will have a chance here." So he accepted me in Kyoto. So and I think this is the way to do that. Also, there's a homepage. I will send it to the chat. J Rec In. That is a homepage for searching for education or researcher job in Japan. If anyone's interested, you can search for it.
And then how about to have a fluent Japanese language if you want to do a postdoc?
Which?
How important is to have fluent Japanese language to join postdoc?
For postdoctor, this is not very important because you don't have the mission to teaching student, and so main work is doing the research. But becoming a teaching staff in Japanese university, I would say that's quite competition is very intensive. So a lot of very smart people are competed in one job. That's a very cruel way to go, and but it's also very exciting, and in that case you need Japanese to add some point to your job hunting. There are some positions don't need Japanese, but I think most of them need Japanese. I think it's same with hunting job in Japanese company.
Thank you very much.
So if you are JSC member, so you will receive JSC magazine every month. So if you check on the last part of them, they will sometimes have recruiting information on there.
Okay, there is a question from the chat asking about time schedule. Most of foreigners start in 4, and there is a different. The schedule may not match the one of Japanese. Concerning that question, there are something they call a career recruiting. So it doesn't actually take into account much to the time you are graduating. So you can get recruited at any time, and then the company will maybe schedule that for you. So I don't think the graduation time will mainly impact your job hunting experience.
I'm Shrey, if I could just add on that a little bit. So I know different companies have different systems. There are definitely companies like Edaro-san says that can hire you at any time. And so for that, that's not really a big problem. But for me, I went through the normal recruiting process. So I could only start in April. That's what they said, officially start in April. But what I did do was I talked to the people from my company, and I mentioned to them the fact that I was graduating in September, and they offered me a job. It's not the same, I should say, salary perhaps, but it's not the same system. I officially started in April, but they would hire me for that 6-month period as not a probation, but I was going to get into the company anyway, and they told me I could start a little early. It's the only difference was that it's contractually it's a little bit different, but they do help you. As long as you talk to the people from the company, they will help you try to get you to the company as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Any other question? Feel free to ask. You can ask any question you want. Okay. Sobrodin Maxim, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the wonderful presentation and for the panelists today. During in the beginning, I don't remember who said it, but one of the panelists said that they changed jobs here in Japan, and I would like to know a little bit, if I could know a little bit more about that process. How is the process of changing jobs? It seems to be complicated when you hear it outside. And also, although everyone wants to work, and of course we want to have work in a good environment, but we also consider the pay, and the issue of pay has been a long-standing issue in Japan that people are talking about. So I would like to also understand, for example, if you work in a Japanese company, how is the salary growth, for example, if you work there for 5 years? So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. I think your question is to me because I was the one that said I changed job. So what happened to me was, I didn't know at first about Japanese system, like a consulting company is different from construction company because back home, both were together. So I was expecting something when I entered my first company. I was expecting go to construction sites and learn about supervision and other things, and later proceed with design. So that's what I thought, that the company is doing both. And that's why I entered the company. And I realized that actually they are separated and they only do construction. But so me, I wanted to do a designing work. So I quit the company and then I look for a consulting work. So what you can do to do that is, while you are working for the company, you can keep your job and you will be looking for another job. And once you get the other job, then you quit. But to me, I didn't proceed like that. I feel like I'm deceiving people from the company, so I'm lying. So what I did is I first quit, and after that I looked for my second job. And on that, when I quit, when I was working for the previous company, I have a working insurance. So when I quit, the insurance covered my period. Is the period will be 1 year, it'll be covered. So you'll be getting something around 100,000 yen, something like that per month. But if you quit on your own, you don't start getting from the first month. You should wait 3 months before start getting. But if you are fired by the company, you can start getting from the first month.
But what about your visa? You had working visa.
Yes, I have a working visa. When you quit your job, you have still up to 3 months to look for another job, and your working visa is valid. So after 3 months, if you don't get a job, then your visa can be canceled.
1 year for the job hunting visa.
Yes,
But
you can
that's
also.
only for students?
For students.
For students.
Yeah, for new students.
But he was already...
Yes.
Give you, in that case, you could follow the advice of Adalo-san to finding next.
Okay, thank you.
Also the salary. So I think Japanese salary is, I didn't know my salary before I come to the university, before I get the salary the first month. Until that, I have no information about what a salary get. I think this is Japanese style. I don't know if that's same with you. But before that, they just told me that they will follow the standard of the university, something. How about yours? Do you know your salary before you?
I knew, but honestly, I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to get any job in Japan, and And it was always the same amount in every company. It's always the same, so I didn't care. But at that time, I didn't understand like how much were the taxes and everything I had to pay. So it actually decreases, but there are some other bonuses. So I never asked. Maybe I recommend you to ask in advance to understand better.
When I get my salary, I think it's over my expecting, and it's very, very happy. Yeah. But I think for this year, I'm working in the same university for a long time, so I think the salary growing and growing. And so the pace is about, in my case, maybe grows 1 month per month in 1 year, some pace like this, right? So if you get higher job, so you have, for example, the salary of assistant professor may be different with associate professor, maybe like 20% increased, I think. And for the professor, there'll be more increase a little bit, also with the year. So how about in company?
First year was very good because no taxes were deducted in the first year. So I felt like in heaven. I didn't know next year. So every year it's going down and more responsibilities for me. But first year was good.
The social burden, right? Responsibility, the tax, when you're growing elder and the burden will adding on you more and more.
Yeah.
You'll feel.
And I have to pay more taxes because
Yes,
of my son.
the kids,
because,
the family, the department, the rent, all those things, right?
It doesn't get better.
Can I add a little bit on that?
Yes.
Yeah. I think about the question, like as Mr. Zabruddin wanted to know. So I think if you want to put it in a number, that how much is the growth, I have seen both the perspective that in a traditional Japanese company, usually you will get somewhere around 3 to 5% per year. If I put it in a number, that's what I think To-sensei mentioned, that you can get like say 10,000 a month additional salary per year. But that's not the culture which is being followed internationally, because people talk about hikes like I got 20%, I got 30%. If I have to say like honestly, you won't get that 20 to 30%. But I have seen my friends in the construction companies getting 50% raises as well. So if you show your output to the company, and company will bend their ways, but definitely they will have to bend their ways. There is no standard way in Japanese companies, like traditional Japanese companies I'm talking about. There's no standard way that they will increase your salary by 20% in a year or 30% in a year. You will have to fight for it. And if the company sees it, they will change your contract, they will change something, and they will give you the salary which you deserve. But in normal way, it is around 3 to 5%, which you will get per year. I hope that answers Zabruddin's question.
Yeah, this is Shrey. Because it's a really controversial topic, I just like to add as well. But yeah, the thing is, yeah, I completely agree. 3 to 5%, especially if you're a new graduate, you're going through that career path. Definitely 3 to 5%. That's what you should be expecting, and it's a topic here in Japan as well. So that's why people try to change jobs a little bit more these days. Even Japanese people. This isn't. I don't think it's an issue of just being a foreigner, a foreign student as well. But yeah, so if you wanted a bigger increase, either you got to go mid-level or you got to start new graduate and change jobs in the middle. I think that's for me anyway, that's I would expect to be the one way to get your salary to be a little bit higher. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. King.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kai. I'm a master student from YNU. My question is that, does the Japanese company have the specific timeline for internship, like the recruiting process? Because last semester, I got an internship opportunity from my senior, not from the official website.
but I applying to my interested department directly with my email. They reply me an email that my application is behind their schedules, and they will consider for the next term, and I cannot meet their timeline. One thing is that we are mostly the international students in Japan enter the university in 4 semesters. So our graduation timeline is a little bit different from the Japanese students. So for in the companies have specific timeline for the foreign students. Mostly we graduated in September, mostly in September for master students. So I will let you know that. Thank you all.
Sensei.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think for the Yokohama National University and also University of Tokyo and Tsukuba and Saitama, I think right now we have both autumn and spring students. So for the autumn graduated student, the time is different with the general schedule of Japanese student. Master degree, half-year difference. But especially for the internship, internship right now is more and more important for job hunting for these 2 years as a trend. So a lot of people find their job during the internship. So the most recent common way is there's 2 types of internship. One time is a long-term internship, which duration is about 1 or 2 weeks in the summer, every year summer, so that you will have some information about July and start from August and September because it's summer holiday. So if you can join that after you first finish the first year of master, you can join that, and then you can considering to join the company. Another internship, if you miss that, there's short-term internship called winter internship, or some company called as one-day internship. They didn't have the experience like Shrey said, that going to the department, working with them together, but they have some like company tour that you can understand what is companies doing that in one day. So this is also a good way to get contact with a company that you are interested. Also, you can understand, is that the company's majorly is what you like to do. For example, you like to do a dump, but this company is majorly on bridge. So you say, okay, maybe that company is not fit for me, so you can go to others. And so you can understand the difference between consultant company, construction company, what is the working area that the company are expecting. They also offer some communication meeting after the internship, right? So just maybe they are interesting about you, so they'll call you for some communication meeting. But internship will be the starter of this whole routine. So this is the biggest timeline. So for the autumn season graduate student, I will suggest you to start your internship in the summer, and even if you can find job from March, job hunting in March, still you can get into the company somehow. As mentioned by Sherry, they may offer you some special half-year contract, maybe not the formal contract, maybe some special contract, something like this. So still you have to have a chance, I think.
Thank you. I think
Thank you,
we are
Sensei.
running out of time. And okay, we will proceed to the closing remark, and then yes. But before the closing remark, I don't know if we will take a picture or after the closing remark. The job desk. Hi. Yeah, Mr. Izawa-san.
Thank you very much for attending this salon from many countries and areas, not only from Japan. Today, participants are around 40 members and could have very good discussion, and you can get useful information from our discussion. And we hope this salon is helping for your job hunting. And also, during the discussion, we share some websites for job hunting, so you can get further information from the site. Our group, student support group and JC, doing helping for international engineer and students for the job hunting and also some other activities. So we are hoping to keep in touch. And lastly, thank you for the Sherry-san for the presentation, and also student support team members for this salon. Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Last minute, I just put the list of company survey result from our group. And sorry, I think this was done in 2 years, maybe situation changes. And also please keep this only to the members who joined. It's not public information, but please reference it from the chat.
Okay, thank you very much for attending our salon, and hope to see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.